Well, how's everybody doing today? It's Appalachian ADV Rider here again. And I've had this knife here for a while. It's a Spyderco YoJimbo 2. And I never reviewed it. I didn't do an unboxing. And I actually never carried it. So I figured let me go ahead and do a first impressions on this knife because that's all I can actually do. And then I'll tell you what's coming next on this thing. So anyway, so this is Spyderco YoJimbo. Let's start with the size. So to me, it's like an average size, right? I guess it's probably on a larger size. It's not really that small. It's 7 3/4 inches. It's a Wharncliffe blade. This blade normally comes in the S30V. That's a stock steel, and they have all kinds of different runs on this one. I have an CPM Crew Wear. Crew Wear is such a great steel. It's a tool steel. It's a real hard steel, so that's why it's like coated here, Cerakoted. It is sharp. I mean, any of these Wharncliffe blades are just a pleasure to cut. Oops. There we go. I haven't stropped it or anything like that, but I mean, it's a great cutting tool using a tip like that. I just love a Wharncliffe blade. If you've never had one, you should give it a try. This blade shape, it's great. It's an absolutely great shape. So, ergonomically, this knife fits really good in my hand. I really enjoy that. The only reason why I've never carried it is because I typically like a heavier knife, quite honestly. And the G10, even though it's not really rough, I just thought it was going to tear up my pocket. And I just have so many knives also that it's just unfair, really. I got the knife. It just never really spoke to me. Except I love that Wharncliffe blade. And I like the compression lock. So, it's a great little system there. So in grams, this is 113 grams. And it is 4 ounces. So I like a 6 ounce knife. So 4 ounces is all right. But that's part of the reason why I never got it. I have so many other. Excuse me. Part of the reason why I never carried it. I have so many other knives. I don't know. So it's not a real deep carry knife. So if you look at it here, but it's thin up and top, so a little bit sticks up. The clip is down below the scale screw, which is I don't think I've ever seen that before. Normally, it's down below. It's lower because there's a lanyard hole there. But so this knife was designed by Michael Janitz, and he is like a combat expert. I don't know if that's the right word to describe it, but he designed this knife to be a tactical knife. So I don't really use any knife tactically. I know in a video before I bought like one knife that was tactical, but I don't ever use it in the tactical sense. Thank God, right? So I am not going to review this knife from that aspect. I'm going to review this knife and judge it based on is it a good EDC knife? Because that's how I'm going to use it. I'm going to cut paper. I'm going to open a box. Break down a box, whatever. All right, let's talk a little bit about it. So, compression lock is a great locking system. What's good about it is you get your fingers out of the way of the close of the blade when you close it. It does bounce out. I don't know if you've seen that, but if you don't let go of the button properly, or it will bounce out. And then sometimes I don't know if you just slam it too hard, it bounces out. So. But it's okay. You get into the habit of after it closes, just tapping it close. One of the bad things about this design, the ergonomics on this knife, is that the hole is partially covered. So while I can get my finger in there, you got to approach it at an angle. It's just not. It's not a perfect opening, but it works fine. Don't get me wrong, but it's not a perfect opening. So I have a 2X XL hands. Typically, when I buy gloves, it's like double XL. So this knife feels good. I mean, it's longer than my meaty hands are, just slightly. Uh, but I do feel this pocket clip. I'm gonna say it's a hot spot. While I'm not super sensitive about it, if I had to use this knife hard for, you know, 30 cuts, that would really get on my nerves. But for everyday cutting, it's fine, right? Especially if you don't use a hammer grip. This pinch grip, it feels really great. I really like this knife. And this knife is on washers. So I like that. It has great action for a knife that's on washers. This is a USA made knife. They have three main factories. I think there might be more, but the three main factories, they have one in Korea, Taichung, and they have one in Saki, Japan, and they have one in Golden, Colorado, USA. And I think they have a different line of Spydercos. It has a different opening. I don't think they call it Spydercos, but they're made in China. I've never held one. I don't know anything about that, but okay. And the pocket clip. So this is left to right, tip up or tip down. So it's in four positions. You can change the pocket clip. So that's pretty good. Let's see. There's a steel liner in there inside the G10 scales, and it's hollowed out the scales, so the liner fits inside the scales, which I really like that design to it. All right. What else can I say about this? I don't know. I'm about to take this knife apart, so let's just check out the fastener size here. All right. It's T8 for the scales, and a T10 for the main pivot, and I'm sure it's a T6 for the thing. All right. So generally speaking, I like this knife. I like the size of it, but I didn't carry it because I just have so many other options, and I wasn't crazy about the texture of the G10. It's a peel ply texture. It's not super duper rough like the YoJimbo. That G10 is really really rough, and this is actually kind of smooth. And again, this is I'm not sure if it's different than a standard version. The feel to it, this purple. So I can't really speak to that. But this one's fine. It's just that the weight wasn't great. The texture kind of concerned that I was going to tear up my pocket. Have so many other choices, so I never really carried that. But what I did do is recently I got in these things. Original Goat. It's my first Original Goat scales. OG. All right. Check those out. And it also comes with the pocket clip. So here we are. I'm going to make this another video, but I just want to show you guys before I start a new video. These are titanium. They should be, right? But they changed the dimensions of this knife. If you see the scales, it's going to make the knife a little bit longer and wider. And it gets rid of the clip positions, except for the one for the right hand. So I got a right hand carry. And then it comes with I guess that's not a deep carry clip, but it comes with the clip also. All right, well, thank you for joining me. Hope that was somewhat interesting. I really can't speak too much about this knife, other than what I just told you. You know, wasn't really crazy about it because of those things. But I got this knife because it's a Wharncliffe, and I love this Wharncliffe blade. If anybody has ever um, tried a Wharncliffe blade, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. One thing I didn't mention is that this blade has a hollow grind. If you can see, I don't know if you can see that, how thin it gets out over here. Let me get rid of this background. Let's do that. Sometimes those lines kind of interfere with what you're seeing. All right. Yeah, you see how thin it gets there? So that's one of the disadvantages to this knife. The tip is so super thin that it's a delicate tip. So it's supposed to be a tactical knife. So I'm not sure how that super thin tip is advantageous to for tactical use, but whatever. I'm not really a tactical guy. I mean, it's great for slicing boxes. For a utility knife, this blade shape is just amazing. I can say that because even though I've never carried this knife and used this knife, this particular one, I have a ton of Wharncliffe blades. So with the hollow grind, so the geometry is the same, and this geometry is wonderful. So if you never tried it, you really got to try it. All right. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna film the changing of the scales next, and then I'll break that into a different video. And I'll carry the knife for a while, and then I will get back to you and let you know what I think about this knife. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up or thumbs down if you didn't enjoy it. And don't forget, I got a huge playlist. Go and check out my playlist. I've got knife content, a lot of reviews there, first impressions, unboxings. I also have moto camping videos and motorcycle videos and exploring videos. So please go and check it out, and I hope you enjoy it, and I will talk to you all soon. Thanks.